people ask me all the time, how do you manage and lead 6 million? That's more than some nations have in terms of population. The notion then of winning together is a mandate. There is no other option. There was no possible way to motivate or inspire millions of women who were not employees. They were independent contractors, without demonstrating, I think, some of the key leadership qualities that, in fact, really were contagious, that drove a movement and created that multiplying effect. And one of the very first leadership traits, qualities that I think is important, managing such a dynamic and large force, and I submit that this would be true whether your company has 100 people, or in our case, millions, is that there has to be authentic belief and demonstration and living of the vision and the values of the enterprise. You have to have passion for that enterprise, passion for the mission, and it must be authentic, or it's very transparent to the organization. Influence is very, very different than power. Power is a lot easier. I am the boss, you are my subordinate, I tell you what to do, and if you don't do it, you don't have a job. That, in fact, is significantly simpler than influence, and I would contend that while I have that experience running an independent sales force, I think that is truer and truer today for all leaders, whether you have an independent sales force or not. Whether you are running a nation or a small company, being able to influence and motivate is as important. That is the difference in my mind between managing and leading. Managing has an element of power, hierarchy, I say, you do. Influence, on the other hand, is a much more important and critical skill. It's a very, very critical differentiator if you want to, again, multiply and be able to have a leadership principles and leadership strengths across an organization, particularly globally. Having spent over a decade at the helm of a company that was over 100 years old, I could just tell you from experience that there are cycles, and each cycle requires reinvention of the company and reinvention of oneself as a leader. They come faster and faster in a competitive, changing environment. Industries are born and they are dying faster than ever before, half the time it took even 4 years ago. And in order to drive that culture of continuous change, a commitment to personal reinvention is critical. And you've got to set that bar for everyone else in your organization so that they can see you lead by example and then multiply it. The basic truth is that you cannot possibly reinvent your brand or your company, see around the corners, or be ready and prepared for the next set of changes in this dynamic environment without a commitment to personal reinvention. And I received invaluable advice back about 2005 that really resonated with me, which I love to share with other leaders, and that is that when you are in a job long enough, I promise you there is a cycle, and the cycle requires you to fire yourself on a Friday night and come back in on Monday rehiring yourself. What do I mean by that? That you need to kind of close the door and come back in every so often in your leadership legacy and say, can I look at this business with eyes anew? Can I look at this freshly? The team I put in, the strategies that I developed. Can I look at this and in some cases make the change or shut down and or undo things that I myself put in because times have changed, the need has changed, and if I don't do that, we won't survive. And so this thought of firing yourself and rehiring yourself with fresh eyes constantly is a discipline that leaders who want to drive enterprises forward with in the next very difficult and challenging cycle will be required to do. All of us spend a lot of time at our work. All of us want to help. I myself graduated from university. I wanted to go into the Peace Corps. My parents said to me, you have to go and repay your college loans, so you must go into a ferociously for-profit career. And not until I got to Avon did I understand that the two, in fact, could meet, that the private sector and the public sector alone were not the answer, that perhaps being a business leader and being able to attribute and focus the organization on doing good as well as doing well could be a way to contribute to society. And it was a very important key barometer and a hallmark to me of you all who are tomorrow's future leaders. Thank you.